One. And all right, we are live. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
I'm fired up.
I'm fired up.
And I'm really fired up for the guests that we have procured for today. We've got, of course, my co-pilot Wayne is back. We
There
are
we
back.
go.
Back in black, sort of. Yeah.
Back in black.
And we have Ashley, current president of Metrotech.
Yes, sir.
And the fantastic Justin, who is the CEO.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
He didn't get the memo though. We got the black.
Yeah. Well,
It's all
mine-
right.
I just keep it here. I just leave it here.
Yeah.
Oh, he's neutral, though. That's still.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's still. That's
So
still-
we call Justin the neutral. Yes.
I'm a pop of color.
Okay. There you go.
I don't know if you noticed the dash of color I have.
Oh,
There we go.
I have none.
Yeah, yeah.
None more black.
We need more flair. 32 pieces.
Excellent. So, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Doing fantastic.
All right. Thank you guys for coming out.
Awesome.
Yes. And so, you didn't think Wayne was going to be here? Or no.
I did not think Wade was going to be
So-
here.
so
until
Wayne-
That's
yesterday.
actually why she is here. She's like, there's 1 week when Wayne is not here, and that's the one I'd like
That's
to
the show.
take.
She's like, I'm down for that show every time.
Every time.
Yes.
Every time. Yeah.
But now we have 100% more Wayne than last week.
100%.
Yes, 100% more Wayne than last week. So the way this works is we will have the Oracle pick us a topic.
Fantastic.
And of course, we have the very real estate oriented crew that we have here, but it's not necessarily relegated or restricted
Sure.
to real estate.
We
So-
do have free will.
Yes,
so.
we do.
That's what happened
Or
last
do
time. We
we?
just went way off
Yes.
topic, so that happened.
Yes.
Thank you for establishing boundaries early.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Welcome to the sim.
Yes. Oh man, me and a buddy of mine got into that the other day. Simulation theory.
Oh, don't go down. That's a 4-hour wormhole on TikTok if you're not careful.
We were speaking earlier about the bro science and like all of that
Yeah.
stuff. So one of the guys, so Joe Rogan.
We are Apex. Sorry.
So there you go. Shout out to
Ryan Stuman.
All the bros.
and Russian Mark. What
Yes.
up? But Joe Rogan had Riz Weinberg on the other day, who is the game designer, Google guy,
Yep.
TED Talk guy, that his whole thing is the simulation theory. And it's like, man, once you get into the math of that, like it's...
I can't go there.
That's where we are.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hey, everybody gets to do what they want, right?
They do.
Yes. Okay.
What's our topic?
Yes. Our topic is, today is May the 24th, correct?
That sounds close.
Close
Yep.
enough? Okay. All right. So we've got unity.
Oh.
Unity is strength. When there is teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved. And that is from Maddie Stepanek. And so this is very interesting because given all the turmoil and the topsy-turvy nature of current events
Yeah.
in our little universe,
Yep.
unity is, I won't say that it's hard to come by, but holy mackerel. It's like, if I were sitting in the bleachers and just wanting to watch a fight, it's
This
like,
is it.
yeah, it doesn't take much to poke the bear.
It doesn't. You know what's really funny is the last time I did this was the morning they announced the settlement, and the topic was hope. It's like, well, this is cute. Let's talk about hope.
Which was
Shall we?
Which was crazy because I think literally on your drive here is when
Yes.
it was announced. Which is bonkers.
It is.
So now, what is the status of that? So speaking of unity,
Sure.
where does everybody stand on that?
You know what? I'm going to defer to my counterpart, Justin Landon, the
Well
esteemed
played. Well-
CEO of Metrotech.
Well
for
played,
that
ma'am.
one.
Well played.
So where does everybody stand on the settlement today, I guess, is the question. And I would say that we lack some unity around the topic.
Yeah.
I would say that industry-wide, I think there's an acknowledgement that things are moving in a direction they have to move, but we don't feel real good about where we're going. But that doesn't mean it's not a potential positive. Certainly at Metrotech as an organization, our attitude is, the industry is at a tipping point, and we have the opportunity to embrace the change that's coming and lead through that change, or we have the opportunity to stick our head in the sand and be grumpy about it. And I don't think the latter is particularly productive. So
Not a good business model.
yeah, certainly our attitude is we're going to come together around the idea that progress is always progress. Moving forward is always better than standing still, and we're going to press ahead.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing that we're doing. So talking about unity, like bringing the brokers back together, being the brokerage community, like all these different business models and brands, that's healthy. That's healthy competition and camaraderie, right? And I think we've gotten away from that because it's always been this scarcity mindset of don't touch my agents, don't touch my brand, don't touch my building, don't come into my ecosystem. And now it's kind of like, gosh, if we can band together and really see what you're doing well and come together and create this unified front, because realtors are necessary And that is, as Justin says, the industry that is the great meritocracy, or one of the last ones that is still living in America today. And so we need to persevere and rock on.
I love it. And I love meritocracy.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, even like my guys, I tell them, if you don't suck and you don't quit, you'll be all right.
Absolutely.
I talk about it all the time. I think real estate, I call it one of the last true meritocracies in America. We have realtors that have GEDs. We have realtors that have PhDs. We have realtors that were inheriting a business from their parent, a multi-million-dollar business from their parents. And what we all know, though, in real estate is you are only as good as your last deal. It does not matter how much you were given. You only retain what you can perform on. Yeah. And there's something really powerful about that. And we also talk about the low bar to entry in real estate as a bug sometimes. People say, oh, it's so easy to get in the business. And I always go back to, I love a low bar to entry and a high bar to success, which is what real estate is through and through. Anybody can get in, but only the great survive.
I love that. And yeah, like you said, it's a feature, not a bug. And the idea that anybody can play, but only the ones that are actual winners will win. Yeah. You know, and somehow or another, I don't know, that seemed like that was a thing when I was a kid. Like, not everybody got a trophy.
Well, that's what I was about to say. No more participation trophies in real estate.
Amen.
It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now Wayne is on the coaching side. You're on the front lines.
Yeah.
So what is it where people are coming together, or is it scattershot and victimhood versus, you know, and that sort of...
Well, and I think change in the pressure we're seeing is, if nothing less, it's exposing, right? Like, it's exposing the mindsets, it's exposing skill level big time, right? Like, if you had the skill or you didn't. So I think it's very exposing. And you're seeing kind of two groups. You know, you're seeing the group that's like resenting and resisting, and they're kind of, you know, looking for like, what's the loophole and how can I get around this, and then, you know, I can't wait for all the other agents to get out of the business. Like, you're hearing all kind of that. And then there's this other group that's like, hey, let's, like, together we all do better. We all do better. And I breaks my heart when I hear so many people saying, I can't wait for all these bad agents to get out of the business. And like, I know why agents got in the business. They got in the business because, like, man, this is the one thing I could do without having to go to college. Like, this is the best opportunity for me to take care of my family on a whole. Like, I know why most realtors got in this business is because they had a dream that really mattered. So I would love for everybody to succeed. But that's going to take everybody getting better. Right, so like, I would love to see everybody succeed, but it means we're all gonna have to get better, and so, you know, that means coming together and doing it together.
Well, and I think one of the things we're seeing, and I'm hearing from brokerage as well, that over the last 4 or 5 years, the marketplace has exploded. You know, certainly 2020, 2021, and 2022 were some of the greatest years in the history of residential real estate. Obviously, 23, not as great.
You took the L.
Certainly slowed down a little bit, but what we have seen is with the recent news, there is a willingness to come back into the classroom, into a learning environment, and saying, this is an opportunity for us to reset a population where, you know, 50% of our membership, the realtor population, is brand new since COVID.
Yeah.
And so they grew up in this hyperactive real estate market,
and a very transactional market, right? Like, it was very different than what a normal market, or what we're getting back into.
Yeah, if we ever see normal again, God willing. But yeah, they went through that hyperactivity phase, and now they're having a moment to breathe and reset and say, I need to really reinvest in myself. I think it's a tremendous opportunity as an industry to say, we've got a hook to bring them back into the classroom, so to speak. Because the settlement is really, and the rule changes are sort of encouraging that behavior. And what I'm hearing from brokerage is people are showing up, and certainly our classes
are full,
packed, waiting lists. Yep. Because I think the agent population recognizes we've got to level up a little bit to continue to be successful.
Yeah.
And something that we really wanted to focus on, and I told you we had John Israel, Mr. Thank You, at the building yesterday, because part of it is, that mindset shift. Like, we can give you all the practical knowledge of how to, you know, redefine yourself with the new practice changes. But if you can't wrap this little brain around what's going on, that's going to be your inhibitor in being successful.
Yeah, you're hamstrung.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's where, you know, people like Wayne come in, and John Israel and other people in our industry that can come in and really help people get unstuck, which is the PG version of how I like to say it. But,
I like how you think.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think this is amazing what we're doing here in this podcast and bringing good energy together, so because people also like to consume different content, and that's why at MetroTex we're sitting there and we're going, Okay, let's have your traditional classes. Let's have forums. Let's have webinars. Let's do all-day training events. Let's do podcasts. Let's do everything we can so we can reach everybody else where they are instead of demanding they come to us in the format that we dictate.
Which was the old business model.
It was the old business model.
And that's where this phrase of unity is so important, because we like to, sometimes as an organization or as an industry, we think people are like us.
Yeah.
And what I think is so unique about real estate, and why sometimes unity feels difficult in our industry, is real estate attracts all kinds. I mean, the range of people in our industry is astounding. I have a mentor who said there's a realtor for everyone. Because sometimes you'd meet someone and you're like, man,
Who works with you?
Yeah. How did you get a home?
And yet there's absolutely a client that wants someone just like that. And there are really difficult clients who realtors will vibe with. And so we have a realtor for everyone. We have a brokerage business model for everyone. And so as an industry, certainly at a MetroTex level, we have got to have the perspective of we're not a one-size-fits-all. We cannot be a one-size-fits-all. We have to understand that our community needs different things from us. And when you have 27,000 members as the 5th largest association in the country, covering the entire Metroplex, from an Argyle up north where we've got members, to a Waxahachie down south where we've got members, to inside 635. I mean,
Those are all very
we got some
different tribes.
wide-ranging
Boy, howdy.
expectations.
Yeah.
Very.
And so I was a million years ago, long ago, I was one of the first RPR instructors for North Texas. And so they sent me out to the hinterlands. And it was like, because, they had big push for, NAR to get that out. And like, boy, you want to talk about different markets and different vibes. And, not only like, who do you work with and like, what do you sell? But they would show up.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of you guys bringing everybody in with a value add versus, my opinion, based on my experience, that there used to be a lot of, I'm just here for the CE and the sandwich,
We do love a good sandwich.
Yes, yes. Oh, and the other thing is, like I say on here often, I've been sober for 19 and a half years, but I went to my first white party was 2012.
Yeah.
And back then, if you paid your fair share, it was open bar. And I was like, holy shit, by like 7:45, I'm like, are y'all okay?
No, they're
Okay.
not.
And I'm like, okay, you need to give me your keys. And like somebody help her. Here, she needs somebody to hold her hair. Like it was just.
We have better boundaries, we'd like to say now in 2024, right, Justin?
No comment.
No
yes,
comment.
Yes. Like I said, just a casual observance, just,
Sure.
just being there. But yeah, well, and that also, I used to live a very full throttle life.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my God, I would have been so at home for about 15 minutes in my 20s or 30s.
Yeah.
And then I've been asked not to come back. But
Yeah. That's your charm, Rick. You still possess that charm, even 19 years sober.
Oh, thank
It just
you.
looks a little different.
you. Yes.
As he has what's all on his table over there? We got
18. Yeah.
So we've got our
brain
nootropics,
meds.
and
There
my,
you
my
go.
personal my personal new favorite is the Rambler.
Yeah.
Raspberry.
Okay.
Oh, or is
It's
it
really
blue?
good.
If you could just hold that a little differently so
Yeah.
the camera
Oh,
can
yeah.
get it.
I like
Yep.
that he's holding blueberry
go.
and talking about raspberry. That's my favorite part. He's like, my new favorite raspberry.
That's because these are kicking in.
A little more sparkle in your eye while you're.
Are they kicking in? They may be going there. I don't know.
Like I need to up voice.
This is a great representation. We have Justin over here with his hands going, y'all are nuts.
Yeah.
Sitting
Yes.
here. I've got my can of liquid death.
Yes,
You're sitting
you
here
you
with the
already had your
Ramble.
little shooter of brain juice.
I did. This is unity right here.
This is.
It
This is.
looks all things.
I'm going all natural down here.
That's what he does.
Natty.
So
No,
ba-
no
so
organic
basic.
psychotropics down here.
Put water in a Stanley. We'll call it a day.
Yep.
Yes.
But it is like bringing everybody together is so beautiful. And I think that, it was interesting. I was watching a show the other day, some sort of talk, and the guy said the biggest threat of AI is loneliness. And he talked about how AI, one of the things about it's doing is it's helping you realize you're having, you almost begin to feel like you're having a relationship with a machine, right? It's like,
Yes.
it's allowing, right, in the last 2 years, everybody kind of went to their own corner and did their own thing and hid out in their house and everything else. And you just see that, I think that, especially in our industry, there's so much fake happy loneliness going on, Right? There's so many agents that are struggling or having a hard day, and we've almost taught them to go to your own corner. Don't say anything out loud. You got to be perfect on all these platforms, and then like the one place you can be yourself is in Vegas with a drink or whatever it is. But like what I love that you're creating is like bringing everybody together, and like you know what, we're all not doing great all the time,
No.
and that's okay. And like here's some tools, here's some things. And I mean, I did a podcast for NAR the other day, and it was all about like mental health and what's going on. How do you do this? You need strategies. And for so many of us, especially as agents, like our one strategy is just work harder.
Yes.
Right? Which is like cool, but like that's not the only kind of medication that you need to take, right? Like that caps out at some point. So I think bringing people together and going like, you're not alone. You need to create real relationships because there's going to be tough days where you need to be able. One out of 7 men, right? Only 1 out of 7 men has a person they can say is a good friend.
Yeah, I heard that stat.
Yeah.
Staggering.
And for realtors, it's even lower.
And I think for realtors, well, and it's proof because you go to conferences and everybody goes nuts. And it's because at home, they're trying to be perfect all the time. If I go to the grocery store, there's a potential client there. If I go to the coffee, like there's always the mask, always on, always whatever. And it wears on you.
Well, and shout out to Metrotex now for, I'm looking forward to y'all hosting the Real Producers
Yep.
parties in, 2 weeks?
We're just going to camp out, right? Is that where we're RVing in the parking lot?
And
Just gonna be there
it's
for all
back
We
to
got
back.
space.
There we go.
It's
There you
back
go.
to back. So it's genius in that it brings everybody there
Yes.
to HQ.
Yeah.
Which the new HQ is fabulous, by
Thank
the way.
you. You'll see it soon, Wayne.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm going to mark by 47 square feet.
Yes, it's the turnaround.
Yeah.
And in the fact that at the surface level, you wouldn't think that like, hey, let's bring all the top revenue generating agents and brokers into a room and let's have them be friends.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, is this gonna work? Because it's that binary of you either make the cut or you don't, dollar wise. So
Yeah.
there's nobody there playing the role.
Sure.
They've gotten there legitimately. And then to be able to bring that to Metrotex, because one of the things, so I taught for Metrotex for a long time. So shout out to Roxy. She actually taught me how to write CE classes.
Roxy's awesome.
Yeah, the best. And leadership.
Yeah.
I would say everybody go through leadership class 26. Of course, the best class ever.
Right.
Yes.
Heavyweight 28.
Well, I'm contractually obligated to say the best
Yes,
class ever.
yes,
I
of
think
course.
that's part of the deal.
Yes.
But just the fact that it used to be that I would go to the Metrotex stuff and like at the old place in the big room, I might have 100 people there, but there was this weird dichotomy of the people that did like real numbers never showed up.
Yep.
And like there was this lack of unity where there were the folks that wanted to be there, but there was nobody there to actually bridge the gap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there were several brokerages that I won't name.
Good
but,
job. Yeah, thank you.
but they didn't participate.
Yeah. And I think we're seeing a shift in that. And huge shout out to Justin because that was his number one initiative besides just obviously getting immersed into Metrotex day-to-day operations was I need to find out who my partners are, who my brokerages are, who our partners are in this real estate business. And so going from, a Briggs Freeman to a United, which are very different brands and business models, but it's really interesting. They're all craving the same thing. We just had a regional meeting for all the Briggs offices in North Texas. And then Justin and I did a Zoom for them on the settlement and just trying to educate them and everything else. And the president reached out to both of us afterwards and said, thank you. Sometimes it's like when a parent tells a child what they need to hear, but they need to listen to a stranger to confirm that. And what that just further illustrated to him was, I need my agents there more. Because together we can sit there and have that unified message, but at least they're hearing it from two different angles, from two different messengers, and that just continues to reinforce
that
what we
you're
want to
safe,
do.
right?
Yes.
And I think that's part of what you guys have really built in the last couple of years. Like it's a more unified but also safe environment, right? Like we can have safe conversations, all of that, which I think is huge.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think we need to remember, right, as a trade association, and the bigger you get, the harder it is to remember. By nature, we know that's true of a lot of instances. But being such a large organization, it's easy for us to lose touch with the people who we exist to serve.
Yeah.
And so, it's hugely important for me that myself, our leadership, have a direct relationship with the brokerage community that support us. Without really strong brokerages, our organization will fail.
Yeah.
It will absolutely fail. And there has to be a partnership. We have to listen to what they need. We can't step on their toes either, right? Because we all live in this ecosystem, and brokerages compete on certain things, and we don't want to impugn on their ability to compete with each other, but we want to supplement and do the things that they need from us. And the only way we're going to get that is, believe it or not, by going to their office, sitting down in front of them, asking them questions, and
Going where they are.
and treating our customers the way the brokerages treat their customers. You know,
Oh, I like that. Okay, so I would be remiss if I, let me put on my affiliate hat.
Okay, do that.
I was affiliate chairman in
affiliate hat.
2016. So like, how are we doing with the affiliate folks?
that is phase 2.
I love it.
Well, shout out to Christina Dubry, because
Yes.
we have a meeting with her next week. Saw her at Real Producers.
Yes.
And she was.
She kind of invited me to that, but
Oh, she did?
yeah.
Cool.
Okay, you can.
On the DL, I didn't know if I was supposed to just like kick the door in and like.
No, let's
start
go.
shooting the place up.
Like the Hulk Hogan music plays.
I'm with you. Yes.
Well, you know, when I.
Brother.
Yes.
Let's do 20 push-ups before we start.
Yeah.
Yeah. let's go.
Brother.
Yeah.
But when I got onto the leadership track, I came to you guys, and that wasn't even in COVID, where COVID didn't dismantle those relationships. There was a series of isolated events that I think just kind of changed, and it became more transactional with our affiliate
Yes.
members
Yeah.
versus we had this really unified relationship, you know, because we don't exist without you guys. And it's not because you guys are embedded in our transaction, and a lot of affiliates are. It's the fact that, like, you guys are the heartbeat. You keep us going when we're lethargic. You're behind us going, yay, you know, woo,
yes,
Metrotex.
and to that, I can speak to the being grateful for the previous aspect of the low bar to entry.
Yeah.
Because it used to be like, because I was a mortgage guy in a previous life.
Sure.
And I was just a ding dong.
How many
that just-
previous lives did you have?
It's a lot. We learn about 3 each week. So
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
we're at about
And-
432
yeah,
right now.
Yeah, more
There's a
will be
counter
revealed.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing I learned at Metrotex was how to go out and, well, essentially at the beginning, just fail. How to go out and be shitty in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
You know, and that wasn't held against me. It was like, oh, hey, I'm the snack provider. And then let me just get up here and suck. And
We close loans on time.
yeah, but the rates are good. Yeah, but the rates are good. And it's like, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine being a mortgage professional at this point in time.
That's a whole different show.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I won't be here for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's therapy.
Yeah. But the idea of it was this sort of incubator for folks that got to like. I'm certain that there is a large part of how I got here that's attributable to what I did then.
Yeah.
You know, and I showed up. I just used to go to everything because just a little backstory. So like I worked at a boiler room here in Addison, and it was like production covers a multitude of sins, like in every sales organization.
Sure.
And so if you put up numbers, you didn't have to be at the office. So I literally signed up for every
Everything.
Metrotex committee. I walked into the tree pack committee not knowing what it was like 13 years ago. And they're like, it was basically like, what the hell? Who the hell let you in here? I'm like, oh, sorry, I was just walking through. Isn't the bathroom like right on the corner? But you go to enough things and like you get the PowerPoint to work or get the Wi-Fi to come back on. The next thing I know, I'm doing, Roxy's teaching me how to do CE classes.
Yeah.
And I'm teaching these tech classes and stuff. And then RPR comes along and Kathy Faulkner got me hooked up with Chicago, and then I get sent out for RPR. And all of that came just because I showed up
You were in the room.
and I was in the room. And then again, if you don't suck and you don't quit, it was like, I sucked, but I didn't quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, best advice my dad ever gave me was 90% of success in life is just showing up every day.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
But to the affiliate point, I think as a realtor organization, sometimes everybody forgets. It's got realtor in the name, but that doesn't mean that's the only people we serve. In fact, as a trade association, we're one of the only trade associations in the world, the realtor organization, that was founded not just for its members, but for the industry and for the economy. Right? We were actually, part of our core mission is to serve consumers. And so I look at it and we have to remember that when we support the industry, the mortgage lenders, the title professionals, the photographers, they are all part of our ecosystem.
Yes.
And we need to be thinking about how we support them, not the same way we support realtors, because it's different, but understanding that our role is also to support them. And so, yes, while we look to you all to help support our initiatives, we need to be turning back around and looking at you and saying, how can we help you grow?
Yeah.
And so that dichotomy is something that we've got to work on as an
100%.
organization, but it is absolutely part of the plan.
Well, and I will give Ashley full credit for bringing me back even remotely to the fold. You know, because I was ate up with it there for a bunch of years, you know, and
Yeah.
then it's like you become affiliate chairman, then you go through leadership, and then I was leadership alumni chair. And so it was like, and I had a blast, and like leadership was awesome, and that changed my life in a bunch of different ways.
Same.
And so I'm glad to see that the course correction is, and like you were saying, Justin, it's the fifth largest in the country. So you're not going to make a hard right in an ocean liner. You know, that's going to take about 100 miles to actually turn the boat. But it's happening, which I love.
It's a little bit like Austin Powers in the hallway. You know, he's got to. We're getting there. It's like a 17-point turn, but we won't make it.
You know what? The biggest thing we can just say is, as the CEO and the president, all we can do is have these authentic conversations. And for you to walk away and say, hey, they might not have figured everything out, but we know they want to, and we want to be a part of that. And that's the biggest thing we can always bring to the table. We don't always have the solutions. We're just willing to listen and understand what you guys need from us, and then let's see what we can effectively implement.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right.
What's your biggest advice to agents right now?
Biggest advice to agents would be to align themselves with people that are doing better than they are. Success leaves clues, and I think when you were talking about how even artificial intelligence is a really isolating thing, it's a powerful tool, but it can put you on an island, and that's our industry as a whole, because again, we've had the scarcity mindset instead of a mindset of abundance, that if I'm around more top producers, they're going to steal my market share when my sphere of influence doesn't know all of these other people. You know, there's enough for all of us. And so for me, going back to the leadership program, TRLP, which my husband is actually on his leadership journey right now and there today.
Nice.
And so, you know, going through that, that's what I always preach to people when they're like, why would I go and do like a 10-month program with my competitors? And I'm like, because they're going to become your best friends, your biggest cheerleaders and supporters, and sometimes the ones that are going to bail you out in really hard transactions. I don't know how many times I've picked up the phone and said, I don't know what to do. And they're like, call this person, they'll fix it for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, gosh, that is invaluable. But especially, I was the last in-person class before COVID.
Oh, wow.
And so it was so instrumental because independent broker. So, you know, I don't have all these other colleagues and people to go with. I was a new mom, you know, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm all these things. And I'm like, I don't know who the freak I am anymore, you know, just as Ashley Gentry as a person.
yeah.
And so going through that leadership program and finding my voice again and finding that I don't want to say it was confidence. Finding that confidence to walk in a room and just be my legitimate self, no matter what room I'm in, because I always laugh about this. I will tell you about my fantastic chilled martini in the church pew, and then I'm going to tell you about Jesus sitting at the bar drinking my martini.
Amen.
Right?
He's working on us. I love it. I'm with you.
But that's it. You're going to find the same person no matter what room it's in. And TRLP, I credit that in going, I got to take my mask off because being a second generation realtor, getting into the business when I was 19 years old, you know, I would sit there and put on a suit and pearls and try to make myself look older. And I'm like, okay, I got to legitimize myself. And now I'm like, you know, I'm sitting here with a Guns N' Roses t-shirt, you know, and doing what I need to do. And so, but TRLP was such a huge part of that. And then COVID hits. And those people that became best friends of mine going through that program, honestly, were such a saving grace for me during that very isolating time and also that firecracker time of that industry. And so just continuing to band together, put yourself in rooms with other people. Sometimes they know what they're doing, sometimes they don't, but they're amazing. And again, that's why we're sitting here doing what we do now, is because like attracts like, and there's such amazing energy that comes out of it. We're fired up.
Yes. Oh my God, you got me so far. I'm like ready to flip the table
Okay,
over
let's
and
do it.
holes in the
Let's
sheetrock.
go.
Jersey Housewife style? Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
But it sounds like I would be on board.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think the advice I would give the agent population right now is find a way to get reps. You know, you talk about like, how do I get good at something? Well, you got up in front of the room at Metro Tech's kind of talking after you gave out snacks to get good at how you present. You have to find a way to get reps. People ask me all the time, how did you get good in front of an audience? I said, well, believe it or not, for 13 years, I did nothing but stand in front of people and hope they liked me.
Yeah.
Right? And you eventually get good at it. And the same is going to be true right now. If you went to any agent in the marketplace, you said, I want to see your listing presentation, give it to me. They could rattle off the first 3 to 5 minutes just because they practiced it.
Yeah.
They've practiced it. And if I go and I say to that same agent, give me your first 3 to 5 minutes of your buyer rep presentation. You know, for the most part, they don't have it. You know, some do, but most don't. And so they need to figure out how to get those reps in.
Yeah.
And there's lots of ways to build those reps, and it doesn't always have to be in front of clients. It could be doing something like going through a leadership program. It could be like
Yep.
going through an exercise to think about becoming a CE instructor. There's ways to get the reps, but you have to invest in yourself right now and find time for that skill development. And then the other thing I would say is so often, especially as a new agent, people tell you get in the business, they go, farm your sphere, farm your sphere, farm your sphere. You should definitely do that. You also need to create a sphere of your fellow realtors.
Yeah.
Because there is an incredible amount of business development that comes from other agents, whether that's referrals or whether it's a competitive offer scenario where there's 6 offers that all look and feel exactly the same. And what's going to be the differentiating factor? Your relationship with the listing agent, right?
Bam.
And so investing in those relationships, especially when times are a little bit slower, will absolutely pay dividends later.
And the one thing the caveat to that, and this is where I'm just going to be real raw and real, is stop thinking that you are going to get better at your career, okay, by not investing in yourself or spending money on enrichment. We've got a coach right next to us sitting here, okay? And when I'm sure you hear this all the time, well, why do I need to give you money? You're not making me money. You're not giving me referrals. You're not giving me leads or doing anything else like that. But it's the same thing with the brokerage models. You sit there and it's like, we're in this right now because we sit there and devalued what our brokerage community was giving to us, education, mentorship, sponsorship, all of these other things, and said, no, give me more. I want more. I want more. I want more. I want more. And then they're shocked when they don't get crap. Like, that's what is so amazing. But at the same time, we're looking at it from the MetroTech side saying, okay, if we can get them to come to the table and understand by doing all these things and showing up, the byproduct is you're going to make exponentially more money. So stop looking at what you're spending and start looking on the return on your investment. We've got to change the vernacular
Yes.
of how we're looking at spending dollars.
There is that counterintuitive thing where it's like, well, I don't want to tell everybody my 11 herbs and spices or my secret recipe or whatever. And then the irony is once you get comfortable with like, well, they're not me. They're not going to, they're not going to replace me. And you can actually take that and be like, hey, here's what I do. See what you can do. Because it's like even when I started to bring on guys to teach them, it would be like, okay, now are they going to run off and steal my business?
No.
And then the other thing I would say, if you need a coach and awesome friend group, build a studio. And
There you go. There you go.
host a show.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and they'll just show up.
Yeah, there
Build
you
it and
go.
they will come.
Amen.
Always.
Yes.
And real estate agents, I think, on the whole, are way more willing to share than a lot of other industries. But one of the things, we talked about it at the beginning, business model is not what makes people successful in this industry.
No.
I mean, it's important to have a business model, but the most important thing is how much work you put into your business model. And I think most real estate agents, as they share, they can acknowledge, I can tell you how I've done this because I acknowledge that very few of you are going to be willing to put in the work required to build a business to this size. But the important part of that is understanding, too, that we like to think that all agents have the same goals, and they don't. Some agents want to have $1 million in GCI. Most don't. Right? Most people in this industry want to be successful enough to pay their bills and live a life comfortably without a boss.
Oh, yeah. Don't
Right?
boss.
And that's totally cool. So the other thing I advise agents to do is like, don't compare your success to others. Define what success means for you, and be totally happy with that metric. Because in this industry, comparison is an absolute thief of joy.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a Wayneism right there.
That's so true.
Yes.
So true.
So, thank you guys. This was
Thank you guys
awesome.
very much.
We
Thanks for what you're
appreciate
doing
it.
on the day to day. Seriously.
We're trying.
Yeah, you're doing a
Yeah.
lot.
Hey, you know what? Even we don't always nail it, but to your point, you got to show up, and sometimes it's failing forward. And we learn from those mistakes so much more than crushing it every single
Can
day.
confirm.
Worst
Yes.
thing we can do is nothing.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
I am super fired up.
Cool.
And now we're not going to kick holes in the sheetrock, even though I'm. So,
Flip tables.
yeah. Oh boy.
Can I just slam that guitar around a little bit?
Do a little
Yeah.
Pete Townsend?
Yes.
Not that one. You know what? I'm gonna get. Yeah.
We'll get you one.
Yeah, we'll get one.
Be a second
All right,
guitar.
Peter. Thank you. And
Thanks,
let's
guys.
take us out.
Thank you
All right.
guys.